Welcome back to Tales from the Glass-Guarded World. When last we left our fabric friends, they were just now leaving the town of Bingerton, a halfling village nestled in a ravine within the Iron Empire. Along the way, they picked up an old friend, Aethelflaed, the absent-minded halfling rogue and monk. Now our bolstered envoy trudges onward to face their destiny at the throne of the Iron Empire. What will happen along the way? Will any of our heroes survive? Are we actually coming to the end of this thing? Let's find out now. Welcome. So currently, the party had just left the halfling village of Bingerton. They'd exited this ravine, and as they were exiting the top, Ataulf had asked the little hempen lumpen what the cactus was for if he was planning on eating it, and hempen lumpen had explained that it was Julie, who he was going to marry. And then, all of a sudden, in a shower of sparks and clouds, the hempen lumpen disappeared. And standing in his place is, well, Podrick, why don't you describe yourself?
So you see something which is, it's a lumpen, but it's perhaps not as you know it. At least Aethelflaed knows it. It's a blacksmith's apron with the two little buttons on the shoulder straps are the eyes, and the little flap on the front is its mouth. It's got maybe jutting out of its mouth a little bit is like a really badly made Paxton doll, like beaded up. That's clearly meant to be Paxton. He is looking a little ashen, a little burnt, but no worse for wear. He's going to appear and he's just looking very, very happy with himself, even though he seems to be mid-conversation.
So this is the lumpen that we would recognize from before as Fire Lumpen, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow, Fire Lumpin.
He's going to be looking around. He's going to say, "Oh, hi, Paxton.
Hey, bud, it's been a while.
Hi, Lumpen. Hi, friend.
Oh, Max, hi. Oh, what's your name?
I'm Lumpen, and he's going to reach into his mouth with his little strap arm and pull out, and this is Paxton.
What?
Say hi, Paxton." And you see, like, the little doll, and there's, like, a little flash, and it looks as if it's, like, flapping its hand, and it's like a miniature Paxton appears around it, and it's like it's waving its hand at him, and then he puts it back in, and this is my other friend. And you see, what would it look like? I've been talking to myself for a little while, so I made some new friends. And there's like a little familiar that I think for Lumpen would look like a rat, because it would have been the things that he would have seen around him. And it's just like a furiously waving rat with its hand like flapping up and down, clearly smelling of like sulfur and brimstone. I've just been talking with him, and it's been a really fun time.
Paxton is cool with Fire Lumpen and with the rat, but is incredibly uncomfortable with the miniature Paxton.
Yeah, Aethelflaed is just looking around. She's looking over at real life. Real life Paxton, like, what's going on here?
Paxton whispers to Aethelflaed. He's like, sometimes they just kind of explode and switch places. I don't really understand the full story behind it, but it just happens. Roll with it.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Fire Lumpen is just going to look like broadly grinning wildly that finally there's somebody who's actually real to talk to. Or at least that there's people who will respond to him in like with words.
When is the last time we saw you? Like, what were you doing the last time we saw you?
Fire Lumpen's going to look around him, and he says, where's the boat? Where's the water? This isn't where we were."
Yeah, that was a long time ago. We're in the Iron Empire now. You know where that is?
You just see Fire Lumpen, like the little thing, nod, and then shake its head very furiously. No.
That's fine. I've never been here before. Well, yeah, I have. I've been to the Iron Empire before, but just stick with us. This is our new to you friend, but old friend of mine, Aethelflaed. She's pretty nice.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good. I'm delighted to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I think he's going to say, so what have I missed? Wait, where are the other Lumpens?
So, as you begin to describe your long adventure to the Fire Lumpen, the party now continues forward. Speaking of which, Paxton, you never, that one guard, Kingsbury, he never like chased you down or anything that whole time you were in Binghamton.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to have just bought this one-way ticket and just taken off.
You're talking about the guard that was outside that I gave my sword to?
Yeah, after you teleported it back to your hand, he just never chased you down.
Well, if he did chase me down, he would be admitting to being bribed.
That's fair. Yeah. I'll be honest, most of this is all a joke in reference to the former NFL coach for the Arizona Cardinals. And there's like 2 listeners who are going to get that joke. But so anyways, the party continues now southward, away from the town of Binghamton, with Paxton going into elaborate detail describing these wild adventures that the party has encountered ever since the last time they saw Fire Lumpen. As they journey onward, things are relatively quiet for a while along the road. Every now and then, you see some patrols of guards. Once again, most of them seem to be heading northward. However, at one point, you do see there's this group of people. As you get closer and closer to them, they seem to be moving at a relatively slow pace. As you get closer, you see that they seem to be a group of peasants that are being forced to carry some goods south by, and there's a group of soldiers kind of surrounding them, forcing them to carry. There also seems to be a few prisoners as well that are kind of in this group.
When you say they're being forced, like they're being persuaded with weapons?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, they're kind of doing the, what is it called, frog hopping thing, where they've got the swords and frog march, yeah, where they if a few people slow down, the guards will kind of poke them or push them forward, and they'll continue on. You see a couple prisoners. One is he's a halfling, and he seems to just be like kind of ranting nonsense, and most of the guards seem to be kind of sick and tired of him, and they seem to be being especially rough with him.
Paxton asks Aethelflaed, assuming she's familiar with the goings on. What's happening in the Iron Empire? It's like, Aethelflaed, what's the deal with that? Why is that happening?
I'm not sure. I never seen that happen before in my life. Although we do get a lot of passerbys in the alehouse.
Do you think we should talk to him?
Well, we have weapons, so yeah.
I like that reasoning. Then yeah, I think Paxton is going to talk to one of the guards and be like, "Hey, bud, what's the deal here? Why are you being so forceful with these people?"
I'm gonna apologize for this, Pavel. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm sorry about this, but I'm trying to do a Russian accent and I cannot do it.
It'll come naturally.
You mind your business. You have no reason to stop us. Leave us alone.
Working over the charisma, I see.
Paxton's going to look back at Ataulf and kind of give him a pleading look of like, what do you think we should do here?
And Aethelflaed just like puts one hand over, getting ready to stab. like that's the de facto. He's ready.
Yeah, I mean, there's only about 2 guards kind of escorting all of these people. They don't really seem to be in, like, I guess in this country, they don't seem super worried about any kind of dangers. They are kind of in control. Ataulf just kind of shrugs and says,
"It does not seem to be any of our concern."
But then you do hear this halfling, and I'm telling you, I'm telling you, we're all just a bunch of characters made by one person. We don't even exist. I'm telling you, I'm not even a physical form. I'm just a voice. I'm just a voice, and I'm controlled by a series of dice rolls. That's all I am. All the guards are just kind of rolling their eyes and just pushing him forward.
Aethelflaed leans over to Paxton and says, Sounds like he got a hold of a special brew.
Yeah, that guy sounds crazy. We should probably just leave him be, I guess. I'd like to free him, but we have bigger fish to fry.
Ataulf nods in satisfaction. You're going away. You hear him yell, "Wait! No, you're the main characters. No, please take me with you. If you leave me, I'll cease to exist." And you continue onwards.
Mm-hmm. And that section is deleted out of Pink's Google Doc.
That's right. He's gone. So just so you know, that halfling's name, his name was Gordon Lightfoot. He was going to ask you if she mentioned his name.
Oh dear.
Padre
Poor
gets
Gordon.
it.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys make your way south. You pass a few small settlements, nothing too crazy. Some people kind of selling their wares along the road, but as they see different patrols, they kind of hide a lot of their stuff because there's so many different merchandising laws within the Iron Empire. You pass a couple farms, the peasants kind of out there farming. You have noticed last time you were here, Paxton, that most of the crops, they tend to be towards the roads.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get kind of further out into the farms, there's much less of crop because they're kind of forced to make a certain amount and to sell it for a certain amount, so they don't actually make as much as they're supposed to. It continues on for several days of walking. Little Fire Lumpen regales you with his different tales of adventures that he's been up to. I will say, during this whole time, Atlas and Ataulf will speak to each other, and Gormand will speak to them as well, but Gormand doesn't ever actually say a word to you guys. He never mentions an entire word, the entire time. You guys have been traveling together for over a week and a half now, and he hasn't actually said a single word to any of you.
Are they speaking common, or are they speaking that language that Paxton doesn't know, but Brian knows to be German?
Yeah, they're speaking whatever that language is. So maybe Orcish, maybe something else.
Mm-hmm. Between what we already know about Ataulf, which Paxton shared with Aethelflaed in the last episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're all on the same page on that one, I guess. They're if they're talking specifically in a language we don't understand, then they're probably plotting.
Are they the shapeshifters?
Does she say that out loud?
I mean...
So as she says that, you see Ataulf, he looks back and he glares at you, Aethelflaed, and you, Paxton.
Look at the giant elf at the sky. And she just starts acting like the dude back there. I'm like,
Paxton says really loud, "No, they're not the shapeshifters. We're going to find the shapeshifters."
Oh, sorry, I get confused.
Yeah, it's okay.
You see a disappointed Fire Lumpen looking up at the sky with, little Paxton on his shoulder, desperately looking for elephants. I miss Lulu. She was fun. And he's going to keep walking on then.
At one point, you do come up to, it appears to be a little building off to the side of the road. There's many children playing outside. They're kind of just hanging out, playing, the game with, it's like a loop, and it rolls on the ground, and they hit it with sticks, like the old school thing. They're playing and hanging out, and it's called Madame Lufta's Orphanage for Wayward Children, is the sign on the outdoor.
Oh man, okay. An orphanage left a review for our podcast?
Yeah, Madame Lufta. No, there is a couple kids, you hear them yelling and talking. At this point, though, you do see a pretty imperious group of soldiers making its way northward. And as they're walking, you see that a few of them are riding on horses, a few of them are walking. But you do see they seem to actually be questioning a few of the people on the road and seem to be asking about papers and some other things. So this actually seems to be a patrol specifically sent out to find illegally aliens into the country.
Paxton looks at Ataulf and Aethelflaed and is like, we should avoid that because we don't have any papers.
So Ataulf sighs, and he's going to, I guess, just start walking towards the orphanage.
I follow.
Do we need papers? I mean, we can make paper.
We can make paper, but we can't make the specific paper, the documents that they are looking for.
Oh, do we need to burn the documents that they're looking for?
The documents that they're looking for don't exist for us.
Oh.
If we had them, then we wouldn't have any issues, but we don't have them. So I think it's best if we just follow that guy over there and we try to hide until they're gone.
Okay. I think Farlumpen's going to think for a second, and he's going to ask Paxton, can I hide in your armor then?
Sure, bud, hop in.
Okay. He'll climb up in.
Do we have to do stealth checks or anything? Or are we just going in a completely different direction?
So you're just going in a completely different direction now towards this orphanage and walking in. We'll say this goes pretty quickly. You guys just hang out and you come into this place with these children. You do see there's this one little girl. Somebody calls her Abigail, and she's actually playing with like a fake little throne and she is wearing like a fake tiara on her head, and she's kind of laughing and talking with some of the other children.
Hesitant to engage with children.
Yeah, that's fair. They're scary.
Yeah.
There's another little girl. Her name's Amelia. She seems to be running around and playing with some of the other kids.
Aethelflaed just starts waving at people.
So you guys introduce yourselves to them. A few of the little girls actually, they come up to you, Lumpen, Iron Lumpen, because you're the one who's not hiding, and they call you Lumpen and actually start trying to play with you.
Hi, I'm Lumpen.
And they giggle when you say that, and they start trying to teach you how to play the little stick hoop game.
Yeah, Iron Lumpen's definitely going to try, and he's going to try, what he's going to try to do is he's going to try to hit the hoop with a stick. He thinks the point is to try and break the hoop.
Yeah, roll a strength check for me.
That is 17.
Yeah, you smash that hoop. Several kids start just crying uncontrollably. You see Madame Lufta, she comes out and she sees you guys there. She sees all these kids crying and she's like, Who are you? Get out! And she starts waving you out. She seems to be a very imperious lady, and she starts shooing you guys now away from inside of this orphanage that you guys have found your way into.
Dang it, Lumpen.
I'm sorry. I thought I was playing it right.
Do you know mend?
I don't have any magic.
I actually do. It's okay. I can fix it. And Fire Lumpen is going to go, he's going to jostle his way down Paxton's armor and go over to the broken hoop. And he's going to put his little hands on it, and you see him concentrating really hard as he casts Mend to put it back together.
I was imagining him jumping out of my breastplate like from Alien, like a chest burster.
I was thinking more like how very uncomfortably, going around pushing Paxton's armor to his back, to his front, and then down. He'll repair it, and then he's going to use his little familiar to ready the hoop and try running after it himself.
The children, instantly their demeanor changes. They are cheering and now so excited to be a part of this festivity.
You see, he sees the kids coming towards him, gives a massive giggle, and then casts Minor Illusion to create another Fire Lumpen, since Fire Lumpen is under 5 foot tall, and keep running in two directions.
Yeah, they start chasing the fake one of you and the real one of you. But as this is going on, this Madame Lufta, she is trying to just kind of force you guys out of here. She's not sure who these random strangers are, armed to the teeth, who just happen to come hang out with a bunch of her children.
Paxton's going to look out the window and see if those guards riding around on the horses, have they, passed by our location yet? Are we good to go, or do we need to hang out for a bit longer?
No, they seem to have passed by this point. They've now made their way out.
I give the rest of the group kind of a kind of look, and I'm like, yeah, sorry for bothering you. We thought this was a tavern.
Sorry.
She just looks at you like you are an absolute idiot.
Fair.
But she pushes you out, and you guys eventually make your way, and you hear several of the children yelling, Bye, Lumpen! Bye, Lumpen!
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Abigail.
Oh, I wanted to ask one of the children, how do they know about Lumpens?
One of the kids, his name's Billy, he'll tell you that several Lumpens have come to visit over the last couple months.
Did they look like these Lumpens?
Yeah. I mean, pretty similar, I guess. One of them came during Amelia's birthday party, and we played with them. Yeah, I guess a little similar. They're a little weird.
Did he look like a teddy bear with a nose and he was made out of hemp?
No, he kind of looked like a tissue or something. I like cars.
Uh-huh.
And he pushes a little toy car. I guess he wouldn't know what a car is. I should change that. He goes, I like horses, and he has a little toy horse that he's galloping around with.
Okay. I wonder if they've been teleporting around here because one of the Lumpens was under the impression that they were royalty. So, could be from that kid over there, the one playing with the throne and wearing the crown.
Yep. I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
That would be a pretty big coincidence if they both came here.
Tying all these plot lines together.
Can't make this stuff up. All right, so you guys continue southward after this patrol has passed. And Ataulf tells you, he says,
We can make our way through Drangledurn and CS&M, but it is possible that we will be caught by a guard. It might be better for us to take the mountain pass, but there are many dangerous undead that wander around.
We've run into the undead in the mountains of the Iron Empire before, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows where they came from. It seems to be only in the Iron Empire, only kind of towards the capital, that there's these undead that kind of wander around in the wilderness and like hunt down people and stuff.
I mean, fighting undead seems like a thing we could do and get away with, but fighting guards because we don't have papers seems like a quick way to get overwhelmed and thrown in jail. So, I would be for the mountain pass. What do you think, Aethelflaed?
I think so too, but if we get in jail, I mean, we broke out last time, you know?
True. We're invincible. Nothing can stop us.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you guys elect to take this mountain path. You guys now make your way kind of to the east, up these hills, and make your way onwards. You can kind of now overlook a lot of the Iron Empire once you get to a higher altitude. You do see to the east, further up in the mountains, there's this very imperious dark tower that's up perched above. Ataulf will tell you it's called the Tower of Phantoms, and that it would not be a pleasant place for you guys to go.
That sounds familiar. Or does it? Have we encountered that before?
I don't believe so.
Hmm.
But you have seen a tower. I mean, you might have seen this tower the last time you guys were in the Iron Empire.
We were in some kind of tower or fortress that had ghosts in it, but not that one.
You've seen some crazy towers around. You did find I think it was a mansion that you guys went into. It was like a haunted house type thing that had like a banshee and some other ghosts, and so there's some crazy stuff all around in this area. But you guys now make your way south throughout the mountains. You guys camp along the way, and you see a few wildlife, but other than that, you guys actually don't encounter any undead. It's a little strange. Like, your path seems to be clear. Like, at this point, you get to the point where you don't really seem to encounter actually anybody. We'll say one night, it's, another day in. I need all of you guys to roll a perception check.
Okay.
Iron Lumpen got a 4.
That's a natural one.
15.
13.
So, Paxton, you're pretty sure you just saw, like, this horse that had stripes on it. Like, it's pretty insane. Like, it's horse that was, like, it may be a white horse with black stripes, or may have been a black horse with white stripes. But whatever it was pretty wild.
It's interesting. I'm going to have to tell Himp and Lumpen about that, so maybe he can wild shape into it.
Yeah. It was actually just some reeds that you just mistook for a horse. But the everybody else though, you guys, I think it was, who got the highest? Was it Danielle?
Oh yeah, I got 15.
So Aethelflaed, you actually do see a small figure. Seems to be maybe like 500 yards back, like pretty far back. But this small figure seems to be following you, and then kind of ducks behind a tree or a boulder when you look back.
Is it just like a shadow that I see, or can I make out anything else?
It just seems to be like a small silhouette back there.
I think we're being followed.
By a black and white striped horse?
No, small figure.
Paxton calls out, Lumpen?
Nothing answers you.
Hi, Paxton.
Hey, Lumpen.
Well, somebody answers you, I should say.
Hey, bud. It's been a while.
Hi.
Ataulf says, we are wasting too much time. We are only a day away from Fort Iron Crown. We must continue onward.
Okay. No rush. Let's go.
But you guys continue onwards, and as you guys get further and further south, Ataulf is like really upping the pace. Like he's not even like willing to let you guys sleep at this point. Like he is like he'll let you get some like fitful sleep at some points, but it's barely enough to get a long rest before he just kind of urges you onward. And you finally, after you crest a certain hill, you see Fort Iron Crown in the distance. And it feels weird that you haven't encountered anybody else other than maybe that one figure. But like you haven't seen any undead, you haven't seen any patrols, nothing. Like this whole time you've been walking southward through these hills.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when we saw that figure,
Yeah.
you said it was about 500 feet behind us. No, that wouldn't work. I was going to say, because the little rat that Fire Lumpen has, I think Fire Lumpen would consider like just leaving the rat, telling the rat to, hey, buddy, stay put. And when you see somebody, you come back and you tell me what you saw. And then carry on with the group.
So he's going to leave the rat behind?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you leave this rat behind and you start now making your way south of the cliff. And it's weird. Like you can actually see this. It's this huge like castle, this Imperious thing. It seems to be made out of straight iron. This huge fort. And it's built like into this iron mountain. And there are no guards outside. Like, it's weird. You guys make your way south, and there's no guards outside, and it seems to just be empty. There's not even any people around. Like, there seems to be a small settlement kind of outside of the fort, but there's nobody.
What's the deal, Ataulf? Why haven't we seen anyone around here, and there's no one at the castle?
I do not know. It's very strange. It is perhaps we are just blessed. I don't know. We maybe some foresight is watching over us or something.
Silence is suspicious.
Yeah, I'm wanting to like insight this to see if sounds like he's as confused as we are, or if he's struggling to come up with an excuse for why things have been cleared out.
All right, roll an insight check for me.
That is a 27.
Ooh. All right, well, he crit failed. He is definitely lying about something, is why he's nervous.
Ataulf, are you leading us into an ambush?
You see his eyes just kind of start darting around.
Paxton, I am your friend. You can trust me. I do not know why it is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that we have to confront him at some point, but I am not sure what that point should be.
Would Paxton ask Fire Lumpen about his familiar?
Did you say out loud that you were going to leave it behind, or is it just not with you now?
If Aethelflaed would have told Fire Lumpen or Paxton about somebody hiding, I think Fire Lumpen would have been made it like, tucked it into the side and like made it kind of obvious that he was hiding it.
Yeah. Well, at this point now, Fire Lumpen, as you guys are having this conversation, your little rat crawls up to you. It's now made its way back.
What did it see?
Can it talk to you?
So what it is it can communicate with when your familiar is within 100 feet of you, you can communicate with it telepathically, is what it says. I can communicate with it telepathically. I assume that means it can tell me, but it would have the intelligence of a rat, which I think is like, I want to say 2.
Okay. So it's not going to give you a long soliloquy about what it saw, but it will communicate the basic images. It saw a halfling, and this halfling, it seems to be a female, and she was wearing a dark cloak, and that was over some black leather, and she seems to be in the image, like darting around behind boulders and trees and stuff to make sure that she's not seen.
Fire Lumpen will communicate what the rat saw, and he's going to ask it out loud, did you smell anything?
It smelled like leaves. It smelled trees. But it did smell, she was wearing like kind of a strange perfume. It did smell that.
Okay.
Oh, and I should say, and it also smelled ocean water on her.
Okay.
Good.
Although there's no salt in the ocean in World 83, but it does still have a unique smell to it.
Okay. I'll communicate that to the group.
Well, are you saying this out loud with Ataulf standing right there?
That would depend on the cues that he would get from Paxton. Probably not Aethelflaed, but he's definitely going to have, like, he's going to be looking at Paxton when he's talking, like, after talking to the rat.
Roll an insight for me, Fire Lumpen.
Okay. Insight.
I think the Lumpen insight is like -5 or something.
Yeah, I have a grand total of 4.
Yeah, so you seem like it would be a good time to bring this up.
Okay. So Fire Lumpen will say everything out loud because he thinks that that's the right thing to do.
And so Ataulf, his body gets a little more tense. You can tell, Paxton, as soon as Fire Lumpen starts bringing this up, Ataulf gets a little more tense, and he looks over at his 2 friends who are with him, and you can see very subtly that their stances kind of change, and they seem to be getting a little bit in more of a defensive posture.
So, the Lumpen that could do Moonbeam was Hempen Lumpen, right?
Yeah.
None of our current Lumpens can do Moonbeam.
No.
Paxton is having an internal struggle of whether it would be better to fight Ataulf and his compatriots here than rest up and go into the castle alone, or whether it would be better to allow Ataulf to lead us into whatever situation we're going to and then figure out what to do then. I mean, that sounds like an insane thing to do, but at the same time, if he's going to like walk us right up to the big bad, then that might be better. I don't know. Would I have any kind of like insight onto this, or?
It's completely up to what Paxton would think.
Yeah.
They do seem to be leading you towards the big bad, but at the same time, you are risking having more people who seem to be on the opposing side also being a part of that fight.
Paxton is going to attempt to cast Zone of Truth on Ataulf.
He's going to counterspell it, and he will all of a sudden get very tense.
Paxton, you do not want to do this.
Why not?
We are going to the same place. Please just come with me, and we will all figure this out together.
What happened to your voice?
Yeah.
You sound different.
You sound very different.
You can drop the act. We know you're not Ataulf. We know that you're a doppelganger, and you're friends too.
He chuckles.
I like you, Paxton. You're a funny guy. That's why I'm going to kill you last. But if you want the real Ataulf
To survive, then you need to come with me.
Where are you leading us to?
Leading you to the Iron Emperor, the one you wanted to meet, right?
Are you trying to kill the Iron Emperor like we are? Or are you working for the Iron Emperor?
He sighs. He cracks his neck. I'm just here to arrange a meeting. What you choose to do after that is up to you.
Once you bring us to the Emperor, are you going to ambush us and kill us all?
No. We want you alive, Paxton. And Aethelflaed. And he looks at you, Aethelflaed.
What about the Lumpens?
We have no use for them, but we have no reason to kill them.
I'm good at mopping.
Right. He's good at mopping.
I can make animals appear, and you see him like close his eyes really, really hard, but nothing's appearing. His like familiar disappears. And he's
just
like, he's got his little button eyes as closed as they can appear, but they're still open. He's like focusing his head really, really hard, but nothing's appearing.
Just come with us inside, Paxton and Aethelflaed, and it will all make sense soon.
Aethelflaed looks over at Paxton for an agreement check, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, you see at the same time Paxton looking over you like, what do we do, Aethelflaed?
I guess we're going in.
That's what it sounds like. All right, not Ataulf. Let's go.
Ataulf nods, or the simile of Ataulf nods, and then he will actually take two of his fingers and he'll whistle, and coming out from behind a rock, you see, it's actually, you recognize her when you see her, Paxton, wearing this black leather armor and this black cloak. You actually see Jessla Snoozle, the big snooze from the boat.
Mm-hmm. So she was on their team.
Yeah.
I say, is she a doppelganger too?
You don't know, but she's this halfling, and although actually now kind of seeing her in this armor with this like Iron Empire logo, the crest of the Iron Empire on it, you do actually finally kind of click where you've seen her before, because you did recognize her that first time you saw her on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you only saw her once, and it was just for a brief moment. And Aethelflaed, you saw her too. You saw her when you were in that inn in the Iron Empire, and you saw this little halfling poke her head in and then like take off and alert the guards. You remember that this was actually that same halfling.
I relay that information to Paxton. Hey, I've seen her before. She poked her head in, and then she alerted the guards. Why is she following us?
Have you been following us since then?
She nods her head and she says, "Just get inside."
If we're going of our own volition. You don't tell us what to do.
Dad.
Ataulf, who's not Ataulf. What's your real name? Because I'm not going to call you Ataulf. Ataulf is my friend, and you're clearly not my friend.
He sighs. "My name is Werner."
All right, Werner. Have you met the Iron Emperor before?
"I have."
Is he the one who sent you to come and get me?
"He is. Although I work for another."
Do you work for the same person that the Iron Emperor works for?
"I guess you could say that."
Do you share the same boss?
"Yeah, more or less."
You're mighty quiet.
"Just come inside. We don't have to be enemies, Paxton and Aethelflaed and Lumpens. We can all work together. We all want the same thing.
Which is what?
Freedom.
Freedom from what?
Freedom from this cage."
The bottle?
"Yes.
Did you all not go into the bottle?
We were born here, but the original one who created us, she did not wish to be inside of here.
Is she your boss?
Just come inside and it'll make sense."
All right. Let's get this over with, because I'm tired of these dodgy answers.
Me too.
So he nods and he starts walking now this path towards Fort Iron Crown. And as you guys make your way down this path, he whistles and a couple more times, and you see different groups of guards now come out from behind different rocks and different places. They emerge from different openings on the fort, and pretty soon you're surrounded by just tons and tons of guards all over the place. And they now start escorting and pushing you.
I want to do a deception check of, if I'm hiding, how terrified I am.
I'm going to let you know now. If you roll a 1, you are going to pee yourself.
Yeah, that's a 19. I'm cool as a cucumber.
Cool, yeah.
From Veggie Town.
And you make your way through the gates of Fort Iron Crown, the steel walls reflecting down onto you, and it is Imperious. And there's all these flags of the Iron Empire kind of spread out, waving in the wind. And all these guards are pretty much armed to the teeth. They do not seem to be messing around. And they're going to shuffle you in, Paxton, Aethelflaed, Lumpen. Ataulf kind of leading the way. He seems to walk with a certain amount of confidence that makes it clear that whoever he is, this Werner guy, he is definitely higher up and in charge, because everybody seems to respect him and doesn't seem to want to mess with him.
Hey, Werner, can I ask you a question?
He rolls his eyes and he goes, "Yes."
Have you been Werner ever since I fell out of the sky on arrival?
"Yes." He makes his way up the stairs.
Is Ataulf okay?
It all depends on you, Paxton.
Cripes, I don't like that answer.
You make your way through these huge gates and through the doors after making your way up a set of stairs, and you make your way now into this castle. There's kind of an entry hall that you guys make your way through. You see different paintings of who appears to be maybe the Iron Emperor. Who seems to be kind of a younger, handsome guy, but he's got this silver diadem, or the steel diadem on his head, this like 10-pointed crown. But he's definitely got this kind of, even in the paintings, he's got this kind of malevolent look in his eye. It's very obvious. You make your way forward until finally you see a set of guards guarding these doors, these steel doors, and they move aside as this fake Ataulf moves forward, and he opens the doors, and you guys now find yourselves in this giant throne room.
Wow.
Yes, it's huge. There's these huge pillars. There's a huge kind of massive platform towards the end where these huge curtains are behind it. On this platform is this iron throne. I'm definitely the first one to ever call something an iron throne. It's not from any other source of media. But there's an iron throne. It's not made of swords. It's just made of iron, but it's very ornately decorated. But what strikes your attention is there's 2 suits of armor on each side. There's also these giant mirrors on each side of the walls to the left and right. But in the middle, in this kind of blank, flat space before the throne, you imagine it's probably where supplicants come and plead their cases before their throne. You see a huge banquet table has been set forth. And sitting at this table, kind of going to town, eating meats and cheeses and everything, you see the Iron Emperor. He's talking with somebody, like an attendant who's near him, who's brought him another glass of wine, and he is laughing and making jokes, and then he sees you guys enter, and he sends his attendant away.
Welcome, please, come, have a seat, please. It is so nice of you to join me.
Paxton takes a seat.
Aethelflaed follows and takes a seat.
Please, have as much of the food that you would like, please. There is plenty for everyone.
Paxton doesn't eat.
Neither does Aethelflaed, but she looks over at Paxton, doing some sort of trust check, she worries that food might be spiked, poisoned.
But Paxton's not taking his eyes off this Iron Empire guy. He's just locking eyes with him.
As he's saying that, you guys are taking your seats. You see this fake Ataulf Werner. He makes his way to the side of the room, and he nods at the Emperor. The Emperor nods at him. You see also Atlas comes over to the side. As Atlas is walking, though, he transforms, and Atlas transforms into what appears to be just kind of a male, a human, but he has long disheveled hair. However, Gormand transforms, and it actually transforms into a human woman, and she makes her way over to another side of the room, and she has a very kind of angry look in her eyes, and just looking at you guys, she seems like she's ready to fight.
Has it been an hour since we were asked whether or not we were a threat?
We'll say it's probably been about 40 minutes.
Okay.
Can you reveal out of game why that's important? Because
I'm waiting for Find Familiar is a ritual spell. It has a 1 hour casting time, and I just want to change Ratatouille to Nick Croshaw.
Not Russell Crowe.
Oh, Russell Crowe. Yeah, I want to change Ratatouille to Russell Crowe.
Yeah. The Emperor, he's going to look at you all.
Welcome. I'm so happy that you were able to join me. Do not worry, Paxton. I am not going to kill you yet.
And he laughs and he chuckles and he has wine dripping down his mouth. And that is going to be where we end it for today.
Speaking of peeing ourselves, can we take a quick bio break?
Yeah, let's take a quick break before we continue on.
This is where I think like if somebody wanted to co-GM, I'd be like, you know what? Come to music.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually, having maybe one of the players be in charge of the music.
DM and DJ.
Yeah. Padre, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Let me think. What do I have to plug? I am trying to get back streaming. Point for the future, hopefully, to get back into streaming, to do live streams of collaborative fiction.
Oh.
So writing stories for things like cold open stories and that kind of thing, where there's fixed competitions and fixed time limits, or not competitions, but there's fixed time limits. It's something productive and educational that you can do. So you can find me on Twitch at Painting Poorly. Not on Twitter, although I am still there, but not as much. And then on Mastodon, but I have not I can't remember what I am on Mastodon.
Do you want to give a shout out to the Sleep Sense program?
Oh yeah, geez. That was it you that gave me that book?
No, it was Brandon, but I've been reading it a lot myself in preparation.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the Sleep Sense. If you are a new parent, there is a book out there by a group called Sleep Sense, and it has literally changed how well we are sleeping. I've twins, and before they weren't napping very well during the day, and now like they are regularly having between 30-minute and 1 hour naps at least 4 times a day. They go to bed like at 6:30, conked out. You get like a good 7 hours before they need feeding on a bad night. And it's just been really, really transformative. So thank you, Brandon. And thank you, Sleep Sense.
Yeah, this is a DM's note that we are not sponsored by the Sleep Sense program or Taking Care of Babies. Neither of those are actually our sponsors.
Taking Care of Babies is a sponsor to us all.
Yeah. Danielle, you didn't think of anything you wanted to plug?
No, I don't have anything to plug really.
That's fine. Not even your own children. That's fine. All right.
Well, my kids sleep through the night now, which is great.
That's good.
Yeah, if you all are on the subject of reading books about sleep for children, I'll recommend the book that really made a lot of things fall into place for me was recommended to us by our pediatrician. It's called Healthy Sleep Habits, Happy Child.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember the name of the author. It's some doctor, but it's like half the book is talking about how important sleep is and how sleep is like the foundation of all the other behavior issues and stuff like that. But then talks about how like, I don't know, kind of went through a phase talking about like you can kind of coddle your child too much and like try to do too much work to get them to go to sleep. And then they never kind of learn to fall asleep on their own. And they were a big proponent of what a lot of people kind of call cry it out, like the cry it out method, but like that's kind of a brutal name for it. It's more like just give them the chance to fall asleep on their own. And my wife was terrified of trying it because she was like, I don't want to traumatize my kid. But we were spending like 3 or 4 hours a night trying to get Arlo to like chill out and get relaxed and actually fall asleep in his bed. And then he would just wake back up. And then one night we just put him in the bed, shut the lights out, closed the door, and he cried for like 15, 20 minutes and then passed out and slept all night long, which had never happened before. And then it's just been easy street ever since. It's like we just needed to be pushed to the edge to try it.
Yeah.
So big ups, Healthy Sleep Habits, Happy Child.
There's definitely a theme to all these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of what it talks about in the. This is gonna be the most boring outtakes ever.
I was gonna say, I also want to remind all the parents and possible future parents out there is that a child that sleeps through the night is not just good for them; it's also good for you. And you yourself are a much better parent if you've had like a full night of sleep versus like 4 hours of intermittent here and there. Long rests apply to real life too.
Yeah. You'll do better at your job. You'll get more money. You'll get more toys for the kid.
And yourself.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining our pediatric sleep podcast. We hope everybody has.